Google has just shipped Antigravity 2.0 along with a brand new Gemini 3.5 Flash model. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what has changed in Antigravity, what's actually new about Gemini 3.5, and how to fit both of them into the workflow that you're already running, including Claude Code and Codec, and also share the limitations because there is quite a bit of limitations and a lot of people are unhappy about this. So I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, how to actually go back to the old version if you would like to, but a lot has shipped in a single week, so let's dive straight into it. Now, before we touch anything, let me just go ahead and line up the pieces so the rest of the video actually does make sense for all of you guys, because Google, they did not ship just one thing here. They actually shipped 3 different things and they all overlap in ways that are very easy to miss. So first, there's the models itself, Gemini 3.5 Flash. There's a full re-architecture of the desktop product, which is Antigravity 2.0. And there is a third release that is quietly the most important thing if you are not all in on Google's ecosystem, which is the Antigravity CLI, which has effectively replaced the Gemini CLI, which we have been using inside of Claude Code and in Codex, all of our workflows. So I'll take them in that order. Model first, then the app changes, and then the CLI, and how to wire it into the rest of your stack. By the way, for those of you who are interested, this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing a free live webinar. And basically, what I'm going to be doing is just walking you through the 4 AI agency offers that are actually working right now, like in 2026, not 2024 stuff that's already saturated. There's one in there that almost nobody in the community is selling yet, which is kind of wild. And the whole point of the session is you watch it, you figure out which one of these 4 offers fits you, and then you go land your first paying client while you're selling AI. So it's all free. It's completely live. I'm not recording it. So if you don't show up, you are going to be missing it. And if you do show up live, I'm going to be giving away this thing that I made called the AI Offer Selection Scorecard. It's basically how I'd pick the right offer if I was starting from scratch today. So link will be down below in the description. Click it, grab your spot, and I will see you next week. But anyways, back into it. So to go through the model a little bit, up until this release, Gemini's lineup, it forced a choice. So you either got Pro, which thought carefully but moved at the speed of pretty much an old dial-up modem, or you got the old Flash, which was responsive, but it just could not be trusted on anything serious. Then we had Pro for anything that was more so quality, and then Flash for cost. So there wasn't a model that was in the middle that did both. Now 3.5 Flash, this is Google's shot at the top right quadrant. So this is roughly 4 times the throughput of the previous Flash. It's around 40% cheaper than Pro, and the benchmarks that they're publishing, it puts it very close enough to Pro on coding and tool use tests that it becomes a viable workhorse model. So something that you can actually drop into a long agent loop without watching your token spend having to explode. Now, it's not the cheapest thing out there, but that's not the angle. The angle is the intelligence at speed, which is exactly what agentic workflows need right now. So Gemini 3.5 Pro, it is coming later. Right now, Flash is just what you've got, and it's the model running underneath everything that we are about to look at. Now, onto the app. And this is where most people are actually getting tripped up, because the single most important thing to understand about Antigravity 2 is that it is not one product anymore. So Google, they've actually carved it into 2 completely separate desktop applications. So depending on which one you open, you're going to be landing in a totally different experience. So app 1, this is Antigravity 2, which is just a pure agent chat application. So inside of this, you have these sub-agents, you have scheduled tasks, you have projects as well. Now, you are locked to Google's own models, and there's no extensions, there's no plugin points for Claude or anything else. And then application 2, this is the Antigravity IDE, which is effectively just the VS Code styling code environment that we already knew, we're probably already using. And that one, it is still the multimodal environment that it always was, but it's just been pulled out of the main application and it now ships as its own download. Now, here is the trap with this. So if you updated your existing install, the app, it already quietly converted itself into 2.0 and removed the IDE in the process. So to actually get the IDE back, you do have to head over to this Antigravity site and pull it down manually. We'll do that in just a minute. All right, so let me just go ahead and open it up. First time you open it, it's just going to be a cold boot, drop you into some sort of picker, and then you'll have to sign into your Google account. So obviously, we have the chat in the middle, and then this left-hand sidebar holding any conversations, projects, and all of your scheduled tasks. Now, one of the things that the applications pushes at you is a plugin install screen. If you don't know how to get to that and you already skipped it, just go to your customizations, and you can go to customize inside of here. I would recommend to install all of them, and the one that actually earns its keep more than anything else, it's going to be the modern web guidance. So this one right here, this is the one that the plugin is just keeping your agent's package and API knowledge all anchored to the current versions instead of hallucinating against libraries that haven't been used in maybe 2 years. Also, the Antigravity SDK, this is also worth grabbing. And then the Chrome DevTools is what makes browser automation behave reliably. So I recommend just install all of them. And by the way, if you're already a Google AI Ultra subscriber, there's going to be a credits redemption button hiding in your settings. This is definitely worth claiming, and it's going to be free spend. So make sure to check that out if you are on Ultra. Now, the whole reason that Antigravity 2.0 actually exists is the parallel sub agents. So you give the main agent a task, right? It then decides that the work is best handled by splitting it across multiple different helpers. So from there, it'll spawn those helpers and you can just watch them working in parallel in the right-hand pane. So I'm going to throw something random in. I'm going to say break this brief into 3 research streams and spin up a sub-agent for each. You will have to come up with the brief and just use some dummy data. And I'm going to run this off. Now you can see here, it's already going to start running, and the 3 sub-agents, they have spawned in. We have the state architect, we have the storage specialist, and the connection specialist. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is this auxiliary panel on the right-hand side. So of course, you will be able to see all of our sub-agents right here, and we can press pause if we want them to stop running, and you can see which one is actually completed. So it's very similar to Claude Code and Codex if you've already used those. Not to mention, you'll also be able to go through different tabs. So we have the review section right here. We could actually see the brief that it has spun up for us, just a simple markdown file. And we could also click on any of these sub-agents so we could see what's actually going on inside of each one. Of course, there's nothing just yet, but if you go to one that's actually finished, we could see the files changed, what it had changed in those files, and anything else that's actually corresponding with it. So with this, you're just going to have full visibility into all of your different agents and anything else that is currently running for you. Now, one of my favorite things is the artifacts section that's already just natively embedded inside of this. So you can see it actually has a walkthrough inside of here. So it's just spinning up something, a bit visual for me. I can click on any one of these stuff. So it's just nicely consolidated. Now, another piece that is worth knowing about is the slash commands. So /goal, this is going to pin the agent on the objective until it's actually complete, instead of stopping the second that it hits an ambiguous decision. And then there's going to be a couple other cool ones, like the grill me. And this one is going to be effectively the opposite. So it forces the agent to interrogate you before it touches anything. It saves you on anything that is more load bearing. And then there's also the browser feature /browser. And this is going to just force a real browser usage rather than guessing anything. So it's going to invoke that browser agent to actually scroll the web. And then there is the /schedule. You can probably put 2 and 2 together and figure out what this one's going to do. Now, any scheduled tasks that you do run, they're going to be living in this sidebar. So we can click on the scheduled task inside of here. Of course, I just spun this up, so there's nothing in one, but you just set one up, you walk away, and the results, they can show up in the conversation history when they are done. And then projects, they also have a real upgrade inside of this. I don't have any projects in here just yet, but we can create a brand new one. Let's just do a test, and that'll be that. Create that, start first conversation. And boom, we can see our projects inside of here. So with this, the projects can now span multiple folders. They can hold its own rule set, and they can also apply permissions across every conversation underneath it. So this is a big quality of life if you've been running Antigravity for multiple clients or different code bases. Now, one big thing that is missing that's going to throw off a lot of people is that there's no terminal inside of Antigravity 2.0. So the shell commands, they aren't an option inside of the application, and that is intentional. From what I found from Google, the terminal, it lives inside of the IDE, which is why we need to install that as well. So just search up antigravity.google, and you will have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're looking for the IDEs. And of course, just download this for whatever respective hardware that you are running. I will download this for my Mac. So once you download it, once it loads, this is going to be the environment that you already knew before. So it's the terminal, the SIM extensions panel, the model picker, it's all still here. And critically, this is going to be the application that still supports multiple model providers, which brings me to my actual recommendation before we do touch the CLI. So here's where I land on Antigravity 2.0. I don't think it's the application that you should be running as your daily driver. And the reason is because of the model lock. So you can only use Google models inside of it. You can't plug in Claude. You can't plug in ChatGPT. You can't bring in any of the third-party tools that you are going to be used to. And the whole reason that multi-model workflows are powerful is exactly that flexibility. And we've been seeing seeing from like the past few weeks or so that having this flexibility of being able to navigate all these different models and not just having this vendor lock-in is incredibly important. And it's becoming more and more important as, we can explore all these different local models. So we want to make sure we're not just going to be locked into one provider, which it seems that that's exactly what it's trying to do here. So my view is the standalone 2.0 app, it's interesting for one specific use case, which is fire and forget parallel research, where I want to hand off a task and check on it later. So for everything else, I would still be running the IDE or just staying inside of Claude Code or Codex or Hermes, whatever you are currently using. And that's where the CLI actually matters. Before we do get into the CLI, just a quick note for anyone who's already opened the application, everyone who hates it and just wants their old workflow back, you are not actually stuck with 2.0. There's a way to roll all the way back to the previous release. And there's a thread on Google AI Developers Forum where the community has been documenting the clearest path. So here you can see some guys in my community just talking about how much they dislike it. Also, make sure to check out my free school community if you are interested in discussing all these different topics and having the latest releases and much more courses and news on everything AI. So go ahead, check that out. But anyways, first, step one, just follow the directions here, which is going to be uninstalling whatever version of Antigravity that you currently have. So you can just drag it to the trash, empty it, and you're going to be clean. Step two is heading over into this Antigravity download page and then scroll to the section labeled View Previous Releases, and you'll want to grab version 1.23.2. Now that is going to be the last build before the 2.0 split. So you can just install it like any normal application. And then step three, part that you actually cannot skip, turn off the auto updates. So if you do not do this, the app, it will just silently pull you towards the 2.0 again the next time that you open it. And you'll be doing this whole dance over and over again. So if you just go into your gear icon, your bottom left, you can hit on the editor settings, search for auto update and toggle it off. So while you're in there, you can just go into the update profile settings and set the profile to none. And that is going to kill the auto pull entirely for you. And that's how you actually go back to the old build. The IDE and the agent panel, they're unified again, and the update prompt, it won't bother you. So just use this if 2.0 isn't clicking for you, because it's definitely not for everybody. But anyways, let's get back to the CLI, which is the piece which is worth keeping, even if you do roll back. All right, so alongside the two applications, Google, they have retired the old Gemini CLI and they replaced it with the Antigravity CLI. So it's the same agent engine that runs inside of the 2.0 desktop application, but accessible as a shell command from really anywhere. So any terminal, any project, inside any other coding agent, like Claude Code, Codex, your own shell, it's all fair game. So if we go back to antigravity.google on the web, we can see we have these commands that we can just throw inside of our terminal. So let me copy this over. So here I have my terminal over. I'm going to throw this inside, exactly what we had just copied over. And it's going to start installing the CLI for us. From here, we could just follow the entire setup. If you want this to be light, dark, whatever you would like. And then you can just keep going through the entire setup. It's going to be similar to, how you actually set up everything on the application or any other CLI that you have done in the past. Boom, just like that, we now have the CLI in our terminal ready for use. So with all of this, we can utilize the Gemini 3.5 Flash from the command line, and we have the same sub-agent behavior from the desktop application. It's going to be carrying through here as well. So a single AGY call, it can decide if it needs parallel help, if you want to spin off its own sub-agents or finish the work and hand you back the result. So the actual unlock with all of this, it's not just choosing one specific model, it's wiring the strengths of each one into just one workflow. So Claude, it reasons cleanly and refactors very safely. ChatGPT, it's sharp on adversarial review and it catches what Claude is generally missing. And then Gemini, this is your speed and multimodal weapon, especially with Gemini 3.5 Flash. So the goal, really just being able to call any of them from inside whichever environment that you're going to be driving. So I'm just going to do a quick sanity test. So with AGI now installed, Claude, it can shell out to it directly. But Claude doesn't know the command exists on its own, so you have to tell it to use AGY explicitly. So I'm just going to run a small test to just confirm that the pipe is actually working before we hand it anything real. So we can see it's going to run through the AGY, call the Gemini CLI for us. Perfect. We got our result back. We know that it's working right now. Now I could say, build me a one-page competitive teardown of the top 3 AI note-taking applications, delegate the research and the visual layout work to Gemini 3.5 Flash, through the AGY command. Speed and multimodal output both matter here. Assemble the final piece as a clean HTML brief that I can open in the browser. We will run this off. Now, the research, it's going to go to Gemini via AGY because the throughput of Flash, it makes it the right model for the page volume. And then the layout and the visual components, they also go to Gemini because that's where it's going to be the strongest. And then Claude, it stays as the orchestrator. It pulls everything together and writes out the final HTML brief, hopefully in just a second. So it's still generating the landing page, but you can see that it found that AGY was working and it was able to pull the proper model. So this is really what we're looking to try and do. Just try to mix the different models, get the best model for each step of the chain. Now, if you also want the results delivered somewhere, like emailed or posted to Slack or dropped into Notion, the cleanest path is going to be the Zapier NCP. You have thousands of integrations all behind it, and it works inside Claude Code or anything else that you're going to be driving from. Now, one more piece that is worth flagging because it barely got any attention is the Antigravity SDK. Now, this is just programmatic access to the same orchestrator powering everything else in this video. So you can install this with pip, write Python, and you can build autonomous agents directly inside of your own product or on your own infrastructure, just using Google's harness underneath. Now, if you've been wanting to ship agentic features into a real SaaS rather than just run them locally on your machine, this is where I would actually look. So pulling all of this together, here's the stack that I would actually recommend. So the IDE, for the moments that you want a Google native coding flow with all of the multimodal options intact, Claude Code is the daily driver, or even Codex, whatever you're really using, with AGY installed, so you can delegate to Gemini whenever the workload actually calls for it. And then you can use Antigravity 2.0 just sitting in the background for the specific case of long-running parallel research, where you want to maybe hand off a task and just walk away. Now, if you are brand new to all of this, the IDE, it is the easiest entry point. And if you're already running Claude Code or Codex daily, installing AGY, it's gonna be the single biggest leverage move that you can be making this week. So that's the play. I wouldn't say there's any big reason to change. If you are currently using Claude Code and Codex, which is probably what a majority of you are already doing, so just throw an AGY in there. It's gonna be a big leverage play for you. With all that to say, if you're looking for a more hands-on approach, whether it's coming to just learn AI or to grow your existing business with AI resources, or maybe start your own AI business, make sure to check out our new community we have just launched. The price, it will never be this cheap, and it's going to be increasing the price next week. So make sure to check that out if you are interested in learning AI, which tools are the best for your specific case, and how to actually run a successful AI business where you're getting clients and so much more. So we'll have more courses on OpenClaw, Claude Code, and Hermes, all the different tools that you need to be knowing about. So make sure to check that out. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you found some value within this video, and I'll see you in the next one.